Hi everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. We are so excited for you to try our newest feature in Tripleseat, Direct Book. What is Direct Book? There has been a lot of talk around it the last few months. Well, today we are going to go over what this new feature entails. So Direct Book is a seamless way to book, manage, and execute any off-site catering, in-house private events, takeout, or delivery orders. So with Direct Book, your customer will be able to go to your website and choose their own date, time, and menu selections for an event. They will enter in their personal information, including their credit card info, which you will then have on file to charge throughout any time of the booking process. The inquiry will come into Tripleseat and you will be able to either accept it or reject it. And if accepted, it is automatically added to your calendar with a set of documents that have been created for you. So today we're going to go over what the front end of Direct Book is going to look like. And then I'm going to walk you through each of the settings to best set your Direct Book form up for success. So once you have configured your Direct Book settings, you are able to then take the hosted code and place that form onto your website. Once added to your website, your customer will visit your site. They'll click on the hosted link to book now, and they'll be brought to a page that looks like this. So from here, your customer can select the type of event they want to directly book, and we have a few different options, which are on-premise, meaning at your venue in one of your rooms. They could choose full service catering, where your team would go to the location that they specify to cater their event. They could select pickup catering or a drop-off catering order. So I am going to select on-premise for this example. Once I click next, I'm going to be prompted to select the location for the event. So I do want to make a note here that if you have multiple locations within your account, you can have locations sharing a form. Your customer would then just select which location they are looking to book an event with you at. And you can also have one location per form. That's the example we're seeing here with Millie's Restaurant. So I've simply checked that off. And then I'm just going to continue and click next. So next, your customer will select which room they'd like to book and their guest count. So I'm going to select the main dining room for 50 guests. They will then select their date and start and end time. When they click enter, they will now see the menus that you have chosen for this Direct Book form. We'll show you in settings where you can limit those menus, but the customer would select which menu items or packages they'd like to have for their event. So in this example, I am going to select a dinner package. I'm going to check off a few different options and enter in the quantity, which is 50, and then I'm going to click save. Let's add a champagne toast to this order, quantity of 50, and then I'm going to select save. So on the next page, they will enter in their personal contact information. In the essence of time, I've gone ahead and started that process here. I'm going to select that right there. And then I'm going to choose add a payment. If you would like, this is where your customer can acknowledge a sentence or two of terms and conditions on this Direct Book event. So in this example here, we have a little pop-up just noting that the customer must provide 24 hours notice to cancel their event, or else they will be charged a cancellation fee. So then they will either accept or decline the terms. And then they'll be brought to the next page where they can enter in their card information. Once that form is completed by your customer, an email is sent to all users receiving Direct Book notification emails. When you log into your Tripleseat site, the event is going to populate as a new Direct Book inquiry on the dashboard right in this section here. So here is a booking that we've submitted, which you can see we have the option to accept it or reject it. So Tripleseat users' access to direct bookings will be the exact same they have to events. It's based on their user role. So this could be from view only all the way up to delete or administer events. So for those users that do have the appropriate permissions, they can select a direct booking from the dashboard to see all the details, just like an event page. If you accept or reject a direct booking, the customer is going to receive an automatic email, one that you have set up in your direct book form settings. So for direct bookings that you accept, once it's accepted, an event is automatically created. I'm going to select submit to deduct the deposit amount. Any accepted direct bookings will default to a definite status, but this can be adjusted at any time as normal. The details, discussion, tasks, payments, notes, and log tab will operate the same exact way as any other event in Tripleseat. Something new is that when we accept the direct booking, there is going to be a set of documents automatically created for you here on the Docs tab. Before we look at that, I do just want to note this is a test card, and that is why we are receiving the charging error. I'm going to click into this direct book template, and you can see that there is a new section titled Menu Selections. This is going to populate all of the menu items selected by the guest when they filled out that form, and you can come in and add to any event notes as needed, as normal. However, if you need to make a menu adjustment, for example, if you need to add an item or change the quantity of an item that the customer selected, it would not be done here in the document set as you are accustomed to. For direct book events, you will see the additional tab on the far right labeled DB Menu Selections. This is the tab that's going to allow you to edit the price, quantity, and description of any online menu selections. So for example, let's add 5 more dinner packages to this order. I'm going to select Add Item. I'm going to find that dinner package option. Make my selections, and then pop in my quantity and select Save. So I have quickly and easily added 5 more dinner packages to this order. Otherwise, this is the same front end of Tripleseat that you're used to, but your customer has already done a lot of the data entry and the work for you. So now let's talk settings.
First things first, if your location is going to offer delivery or full service offsite catering, you have the option to set a delivery radius, meaning your customer's address will need to be within the set radius in order to submit their inquiry. If the delivery or event address is outside of the radius, an error message will populate and the customer cannot move forward. This will save you time as you won't need to turn anyone down for being too far away. To do so, head into your settings and then select locations. Edit the details of any locations you need to, and then scroll down to event styles, and you can enter in your radius into this field here. Remember, the radius number is in miles. If you have multiple locations in your group, there is an option right here for users to apply to all locations in the group, which will set the radius for all of your locations. Keep in mind this radius is intended for inquiries submitted by your customer. Any manual leads or events entered by your team will not check this radius.
Before you can have your form up on your website, you will need to configure your direct book settings. The only way you will be able to see your direct book settings section right here is if you are integrated with one of our credit card processors. So we integrate with Stripe and Card Connect. Because direct book inquiries require a credit card on file to authorize on the customer's end, you will need this integration. If you do not currently have a processor integration, your site's customer admin can simply come into their settings and scroll down to the online payment section to easily and quickly create an account for either Stripe or BluePay. If you need more information on that, please reach out to us at the support team after this webinar. Once you have the integration set up, that is when you will see this direct book section become available within your settings. This is where you're going to manage all aspects of your direct bookings. So let's start with configuration. Here is where you will set basic guidelines and rules for your site to follow for direct bookings. So we suggest you start here and customize your site according to your business needs, but just know that you can adjust these settings at any time moving forward. So your first step is to set the parameters for event durations. So if you want guests using DirectBook to secure an event for a minimum of 2 hours, you will enter that here. Along with that, if you want to make sure that guests can book an event for a maximum of 4 hours at your venue, you can indicate that on the right-hand side. So in this case, saving these event durations will allow guests to book events between 2 and 4 hours long at Millie's restaurant. Right below that, we have lead time limits. This is where you can indicate how far in advance someone can schedule an event using DirectBook. So this is managed in days. So if you and your team need a minimum of 7 days to confirm an event and your charges, go ahead to set that up here on the left. And if you have the flexibility for guests to book farther out with you, perhaps 6 months in advance, you can identify that here as well. So for our restaurant, guests can now book an event as soon as a week from now or up to 6 months out. Next, you can set what billing details should apply to the documents that are automatically being created for your DirectBook events. So for each event style, you can select which billing details should apply. So for on-premise events, for example, we have admin fee, gratuity, and sales tax checked off. If you have multiple locations with different billing details, you'll want to check off all of the billing details for all of your locations. And when that inquiry is submitted, the system will read which location it's for, and it's automatically going to apply only the billing details needed for that particular location. Here you will also set the deposit for your DirectBook events. This can be either a percentage or a flat amount of the grand total. So you likely have some dates on your calendar that you do not want bookings to take place, such as holidays or one-off days where you'll be closed. Here is where you can select blackout dates. So simply choose the desired dates from your calendar to block from being booked and save. Those dates will now be unavailable for guests to select. So you can see my days I have blocked in blue are the days that are blocked from my DirectBook form. My guests will not be able to book anything on these days. The last piece to set for DirectBook are the times that your location should be available. So to do this, we are going to select the hours tab at the top. If you have multiple locations, you can select from this drop-down. Now we can see the hours that Millie's will be available to book on DirectBook, and you can break this out by a day of the week. And you can even add multiple availability blocks in the instance you would close after lunch but reopen for dinner. So you can see the examples that we have set here. So blackout dates and hours are a great way to limit the availability seen by your customer on your DirectBook form. But I do want to note that both are the availability for the entire venue. So if you need to block just one of your rooms for a few hours on DirectBook, you would want to utilize a calendar note to do so. All right, so let's talk menus. So as we saw on the front end, your guests are able to select their own menu selections from the DirectBook form. So you're able to limit which menus are available to be selected, but first you're gonna need to add these menus to your DirectBook settings. So in your settings, you'll notice there are different sections when it comes to menus. So you'll see items, packages, and then menus. So let's go over those definitions to start. A menu is a full list of offerings for your customer to select from. So here the menus would be a la carte options and Millie's dinner options. Menu items would be the individual items that are selectable within your menus. So here a menu item would be the Cajun salmon, where your customer could simply click, pop in a quantity, and then click save. Menu prices are priced per item and are most commonly used on an a la carte menu. Packages would be used when you want your customer to choose selections from different sections, such as courses or a prefix menu. So here the packages would be the $60, $70, $80, and $90 dinner packages. And when your customer clicks on these packages, they are prompted to choose from appetizers, entrees, and desserts before submitting their selection. So going back into settings, let's show where you would go to add or edit your menu options. So you would first want to select the Items tab. This is where you can come to add your individually priced items. So to add, you would simply select New Item. But let's check out an existing menu item as an example. So let's click into the chicken parm. Each menu item will need a name, a price, and a menu item category. As a reminder, the menu item categories are what are going to populate the appropriate taxes, fees, and gratuities on your menu item, so that is necessary. You do have the option to add a SKU number, an internal description, or a public description at the bottom. And you can also disable this menu item at any time by checking off this box at the bottom of the page. You will also want to be sure to check off the location where you would like this item available. So if any choices should be offered with this item, in this example, a choice of pasta, you would click into the Modifier Groups tab to set this up. So notice here how the choice of pasta is set up as the modifier group, and the choices or modifiers below it are ziti, linguine, and rigatoni. So now when your customer chooses this chicken parm item, they'll be prompted to select which pasta they want with it. So next we'll go into packages. So remember that packages are priced per person and are most commonly used with the prefix menus. So to add, you would, same as the items, click the new package button on the right-hand side. I'm going to click into the $70 dinner package as an example. So each package requires a name, a price per person, and that menu item category. Very similar to the item, you can also add descriptions and indicate which location that this package should be available at. To add choices into a package, you will simply click the Item Groups tab to the right. So here the individual item groups are appetizer, entree, and dessert. And you can see that within the item groups, we have individual items or different choices that your customer can select from. So if needed, these items can have their own modifiers, such as the option to add a protein to the Caesar salad. And these add-ons can have their own additional upcharge. So we've gone over adding individually priced items and a price per person package. The only step left would be to create a menu where all of these options can live. And that brings us to the menu tab. To create a new menu, you would simply click the new menu button on the right. I am going to select Millie's dinner options as the example. So each menu needs a name and to indicate which delivery methods offer this menu and which locations it is available at. You would then click into items and packages to add any individual menu items or any packages to this menu. You can see here that we have a list of both the a la carte and the dinner options. So finally, we can review our direct book form settings. This is the page that will be on your site for your customers to directly book their events. So you might already have one created in your settings, in which case you can simply click edit. Otherwise, you can click on New Form on the top right. I'm going to select Edit on Millie's form. So you would want to give the form a name, which could just be your location name, or it could be the type of form that it's going to be. For example, a Holiday 2021 Direct Book form. And under the name, you can indicate which types of events should be available for Direct Book: on-premise, full-service catering, pickup, or drop-off. Next, you'll check off the location where you want this form to be available at. If you click the little plus sign to the left of the location, you can also limit the rooms that can be selected on this form. Within the branding section, you can customize the banner and the logo on your Direct Book form if you want it to be different from your existing guest portal branding. Otherwise, it will pull in and it will look the same as your guest portal looks right now. You'll then want to select which menus you want offered on this form, as well as reviewing the verbiage on the form. So here is where you can enter in that 1 or 2 lines of terms and conditions for the customer to sign off on after authorizing their credit card. Keep in mind that these terms and conditions are the same for every customer, so the language will want to apply to the masses. You can edit the message displayed on the screen after the form is completed, as well as entering in a website to reroute the user to after they've submitted the form. Below, you can adjust minimums if you would like the form to require a minimum guest count or a minimum spend on F&B per event style. You can also set here if there should be an expiration limit on direct bookings. So this is measured in hours. So let's say we put 24 hours in here, as we have. So this means that if we do not accept or reject a direct book inquiry within 24 hours, it will automatically expire and the customer is automatically sent that rejection auto email response. So in this auto response email section, this is where you can adjust the emails that are sent to the customer once an inquiry is submitted, when the inquiry is accepted, and even when the inquiry is rejected. You can customize all 3 messages. So finally, at the bottom, you can select who should receive an email notification once this form has been submitted by your customer. And then you would just select Update. So now that you have completely configured your settings and you feel comfortable with what customers can select, you can then click the Setup Codes button on the lead form and give the hosted code to your web developer to add the form to your website. So if you have any additional questions about DirectBook, please reach out to our support team by going through the Help and Questions button at the top of your screen. Also, please look out for a follow-up email after this webinar. There will be a link to our DirectBook videos on our Tripleseat YouTube page that are going to be super helpful for you when configuring your settings and building out your menus. But otherwise, let us know if you have any questions. Thank you for taking some time to go through this webinar with me today. I hope you're as excited as we are. So keep us posted and we'll talk to you soon.